Nick here, Revit Customs. Today we're having a look at our new Ender 3 build here. This has been set up for nylons, peak, etc., you know, your higher end temps. This is just a base model Ender 3, well it was anyway. We've changed out the main board on this to a Bigtreetech SKR Mini E3 V2 and also paired it up with the touchscreen that they do, which is very nice. We've also got the DYZE Pro extruder hot end combo, which we've did a little unboxing a while ago. We had to pay, we bought a mount that we found online, which was about $35 or something, which gave you the BLtouch, it gave you the blow fan mount on the side for your cooling, which you don't really use too much of doing the hotter end stuff. In terms of other upgrades, we've done the silicone spring replacement for the bed instead of the springs, just makes it a lot more rigid, and we've also put the glass bed on. Other than that, it's as it was off the kit. Now we've done a few tests with this, and we started off, you know, PLA benchy. This was just a standard settings pretty much, you know, we've calibrated the E steps on it, and that's basically all we've done. I think it's done at 40mm a second, and it's come out really clean, which is surprising considering this is a full metal hot end. So then we did a quick little calibration cube as well. Once again, came out great. We'd still probably dial this in a little bit. I think it's about 20.3mm, so it's sort of, you know, 0.3 tolerance is normally what I work to anyway. So I'm pretty happy with that. And then we got also sent some Polymaker Polymide carbon filament and glass fiber filament to play with. This is a glass fiber filament. As you can see, very minimal lines, layer lines. You can see a little bit of excess build up on the outside edge. This was just done in a vase mode just to sort of see what it could do. Like, once again, nylon, it's got the flex, but it's also still very strong, and this is the glass fiber just done in a single wall, and it came out great. So then we decided, well, we did one in carbon as well. Once again, the surface finish on this is amazing. You cannot see any layer lines at all on this. You see a little bit on the bottoms, but it's really not too bad. Once again, it's got your flex to it, and it's still very strong. So then we've also printed a couple of these little things just to show you the strength. Now this is PLA, which, you know, PLA is pretty strong, but it's also brittle. So we'll go to the bends, snapped it as you'd expect. This was done with 0.8mm wool with a very light infill. That took a little bit of force to snap. Now we move on to the glass fiber stuff here, same settings or same wall thickness. As you can see, a lot of flex to that. Didn't end up snapping, but there's a lot more flex to that, as you'd expect. Now onto the carbon. Once again, same settings. It just flexes. There we go, managed to get that one to snap. Now that took a lot more force. I mean, it's pretty impressive. You can see it's, once again, in nylon, carbon's still going to be brittle, but because obviously that's just a byproduct of carbon, is normally brittle. But as you can see, you can see it snaps unclean, which is normally a good sign that it's not actually just been a straight up failure across the layers or anything. You can sort of see it's quite jagged. So this stuff's quite good. Obviously, being a nylon, it's designed to be in a dry box, but as you can see, we've just got this running on an old Eton spool just to stop it tangling up. It's meant to be printed in an enclosure, but we've just been running it outside because we're only doing small prints. Now the temp for the nylons are 280 to 300 with a 25 to 50 degree bed, and they say you can pretty much print it on any surface as long as you're using a thin PVA glue or glue stick or something just to make sure it doesn't stick, and, you know, glue to your bed like it would on glass. Now, done a little bit of a price breakdown of everything that we've got on here. So our SKR mini board and touchscreen was $92 Australian. The hot end and extruder was $440 Australian. Silicone shocks were $13 Australian. Glass bed $25. Ender 3 was $291. BLtouch was $20. which brings us to a total of $881, excluding shipping, which is about 630 USD, which is still, you know, it's cheap for a machine that can print up to 500 degrees. There's no worries there. So what we actually also did with this is our extruder motor, we've actually taken the extruder motor, the original extruder motor, and we've actually swapped them out with this motor, because our extruder motor is actually bigger. It's actually bigger. We'll actually move the camera here and we can see now. So we've taken this motor here, and standardly they actually have a press gear in them, but we've actually had a gear that we could manage to bolt onto there. So this was obviously more torque being an extruder motor, so it's just a bit more safeguard knowing that this hot end is going to have a little bit more weight to it, because it's a complete direct drive unit. So far we've had no problems. We've been running this at sort of like 150 millimeters a second just to really test, and we haven't had it skip any steps yet. Paired up with that SKR board, we're not really going to have any issues. So if you guys want to build something similar to this, we've got a link to everything in the description. Most of the stuff we brought from China, which has taken a while with everything going on. But overall, very happy with this. We're going to keep plugging along. We're going to hopefully get another big roll of this carbon stuff in a dry box, because we did start to have a few little issues with it, soaking up moisture. But other than that, we're very happy with how the filaments performed, how this machine's performed straight out of the box with very minimal upgrades or tuning. You know, still cheaper than the likes of your Prusa Mark III that's not going to print up to 500 degrees. So until the next video, have a good one.